Hi, thanks so much for joining us. I'm here with Dr. Barry Jacobs, author of our book, The Emotional Survival Guide for Caregivers. And he's going to share some tips for caregivers on how to manage stress and other difficult emotions during the coronavirus. So thank you so much for joining us, Barry, and let's get started.
Thank you so much, Lucy. It's really my pleasure to be here. I'm a psychologist and a healthcare consultant. I wrote the Emotional Survival Guide for Caregivers to help caregivers in general, but I think that there are things in it and things I've written since that are pertinent to helping family caregivers better manage in this crisis that we're having with the pandemic. So next slide, please. So I'd like to talk about a number of different situations which I think are fairly common for caregivers nowadays, and maybe provide some tips for each of those situations. So one of the ones that's most common, especially for those of us who are sheltering in place, is being confined in your home or your apartment with the loved one that you're caring for. Next slide, please. So the first thing I recommend to caregivers in this situation is don't expect perfection. Don't expect that you're going to perform at the levels that you're accustomed to performing. That this is a crisis. This is not a normal time. This is an abnormal time. And all of us, in whatever capacities we work, we have to lower our standards and our expectations of ourselves. And that means we don't beat ourselves up if we're not getting our loved one up in the morning and exactly on the right time, or if their grooming is not perfect, or if they're not doing all we want them to do. For now, muddling through is good enough. And so second suggestion is really that all of us as caregivers, regardless of who we're with, or whether we are confined or not, we need to have a regular habit of taking self-care breaks. And if you're in the same room with the person you're caring for, you can still put in earbuds, listen to your music. You can be present, but also reading your own book. And so you don't need to actually be talking with your loved one the entire time. You can be there, but also attend to your own needs. And then I would say it's very important to find simple ways for you to connect with your loved one, that you're not just caring for them. They're not just a source of chores for you, but that you want to spend time with them doing things that are enjoyable. And that could be something as simple as watching an old movie that you both enjoyed, bringing out the old photo albums, and looking or eating a favorite meal together. But there has to be some element of enjoyment and joy in your interactions with them. Many of us have heard of meditation. Others are actually practicing meditation. Meditation is a kind of catch-all phrase for lots of different ways for us to relax ourselves, get ourselves in a better frame of mind. YouTube has many instructional videos on meditation. And now, as we're confined during this period, taking up some sort of meditative practice would be very, very good for you. So I recommend it. Another suggestion, this is a time when caregivers who are confined to home can become very socially isolated unless they're careful. So even though we may not love video or even love the telephone, this is a time when we need to take full advantage of those technologies, and we need to remain connected with our relatives and friends. And that doesn't just mean calling them once and saying, hey, how you doing? And then not talking with them again, but really finding a way to touch base with them regularly. And if you're very, very uncomfortable with video, then I actually suggest you go back to the old school way and take out a piece of paper and a pencil and write a long, heartfelt letter, maybe to people you care about, to let them know that you care about them. Place that letter in an envelope and mail it, and hopefully you'll get a letter back, something that you'll be able to reread many times and savor. But the idea is to really foster that connection with others right now. Okay, so here is another, unfortunately, common situation for family caregivers today, and that is when you are in one place, the person who you're worrying about, who you're caring for, is in another place. They could be in a nursing home, they could be at another family member's home elsewhere, but you want to somehow be there for them given these constraints. So again, my first recommendation is actually the one I always make, and that is don't beat yourself up. All of us, caregivers especially, have a tendency to really fault ourselves when we're not able to do all that we want to do. But again, under these circumstances, it doesn't make sense to beat yourself up and feel guilty. It accomplishes nothing. Again, it's very important to use whatever technologies are available. A phone call is better than silence, and we all have to do what we can to adapt the best we can. And then I would say, given how long this pandemic has already gone on, and the fact that it may drag on in various forms for months more, we have to remain patient. And that means we can, that absence makes the heart grow fonder, that eventually, when we're able to rejoin the person that we are concerned about, that reunion will be all the sweeter. I'm a big believer in journaling. I think journaling is a way for folks to self-reflect on kind of have a conversation with themselves about what's going on inside them, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And by writing things down, we take what's inside of us and we put it outside of us. And that just that very act helps ground us. And then eventually we can even say that what we're writing will maybe be the basis of a letter or something we'll show our loved one when we're reunited at some point. I would also just hasten to add that even if you don't see someone physically, it doesn't mean that your connection with them has disappeared or that it's in any way dissipated. That these are absences which are maybe longer than any of us had hoped for, but they're temporary absences. That connections don't exist physically. Those connections that we have with others really exist in our hearts, and that to maintain those connections, we have to cherish the memories we have of them, and that the feelings of being together with those loved ones.
Thank you so much, Barry. That's just such wonderful advice during such a difficult time for everyone.
My pleasure, Lucy. I wish everyone luck.
Thank you.